Hi guys, good afternoon. I came out this morning to do a video. Music blaring out from the other barangay. I've done a video in front of this, behind this, and I've come out to the little mango forest just to do the second part of the video. Monitor lizard eating the goats. Recap, eating the goats, quite possible. Lovely monitor lizards here, but you never know. And then my papaya tree getting cut down. There are only 5 people in barangay. They'd all gone to a funeral. So I actually did see who were passing, and I actually saw who were coming in. So you know, it's quite possible. I'll keep my eyes out. Don't know, saw my papaya tree down. So monitor lizard, papaya, and then goats with a monitor lizard. Then someone kidnapping goats here in the barangay, teenagers, and trying to sneak them out of the barangay using rice sacks. Right, so yeah, quite possible. Right, I've been doing gardening all this morning, so I had quite an headache and I couldn't think properly. Just a moment, is that okay? I think it's okay. Right, so not a lot going off. Went to Mercia yesterday, got on the road, and I saw this little baby bird on the road, and I pulled over, and Jovelyn says, "Have I to go and get it?" I think Jovelyn thought it were a toy. I said, "Yeah, go and get it." And I parked the bike up, walked up to it, and it was a little minor bird, and its eyes were red. And it were quite strong and it were quite lively. She didn't pick it up, she was there, so I picked it up. And it had got beautiful red eyes, this minor bird. Like a minor bird, I would say minor bird family. So I picked him up and he was squawking. And I moved him off the road into some bushes. I thought, wow, some beautiful eyes. Like I said, a lot of beautiful birds here in the Philippines. So basically, looks like we're getting some electrical posts put in. So you know, should be really nice if they put electrical posts in. Then we can actually connect and we've got electric. You know, the electric here in Mercia, it's all spaghetti, and I don't know why it's like that. Very, very dangerous. But the big sound on it's going to be one cable for the chicken farm. So the owner said the one cable for his chicken farm, but then there's going to be another cable, as far as I know, and what we're going to join to, everybody's going to join to. And the reason, I do know this, it's just common sense. The reason is, you know, he's probably kicking that much electric out in his farm. So he's probably kicking that much electric out in his farm. He needs a separate line, and he'll need a condenser. You know, there'll be just that much power coming through that one line. So we're not actually connecting to the chicken farm cable, we're actually connecting to a different cable. Hopefully, then like I said, we've got electric here, which is a big plus, really nice. So, you know, just a little bit busy this morning. I was watching the Zumba yesterday, last night as per normal, waiting for Jovelyn. And I sent a message, I got in touch, I found the right immigration. I went back on and I looked for the website, the email for immigration in London, not here in Manila, London. And I tried a couple of days ago, couldn't send it, wouldn't send. And then I tried a couple of days ago, I think it was Sunday night, and I managed to send an email, and it said the email had sent. So I actually did send an email to immigration, and it said on my phone, message sent, right? So the message basically was just a normal, I'm stuck here in Philippines. My passport's run out, I've lost my passport, I've got no money, can you please give me some advice? Something upon them lines, and just my name. I didn't send my passport number, anything like that, and I thought I'd just leave it now, see if they get back to me. And we're on Tuesday now, and hopefully we'll get a connection later. And that's why we go to the plaza in Mercia, because there's a free connection and we can actually go online for half an hour. If it's a bad connection, you know, we can at least go online for a little bit and I can read me messages, and I can sometimes manage to upload a short video or sometimes a long form video. So that's what I do when I go into Mercia. I just sit in plaza and wait for Joveline. So that's it, you know, not a lot going off, and I'll do a video actually. So yeah, strange things happen here in the province, and for someone to cut my tree down, you know, very, very jealous people. Don't trust anyone who told me. You know, there's a lot of nice people here in this province, but don't trust anyone. And like I said, everyone's watching. So, you know, don't trust anyone at all, really. But like I've said, there is a lot of nice people, good people here. You know, when they start cutting your trees down, and it's definitely jealousy. And you know, it, like I said, took me about 9 months to grow that tree. It's got nice fruit on, and we do eat it every day. We eat papaya, either in the vegetable state, or you know, because you can use it as a vegetable papaya or a fruit. And now they started to ripen, and now so someone cut it, sawn it, not cut it, they sawn it with a saw. So you know, just one of them things. But like I said, I know who's all. I know who's all here. And like I said, I know the clever ones are and the nasty ones are. And you know, us foreigners are quite wise. You know, so don't try and lift his leg, because you know, we come to the Philippines and we're quite nice to you guys. You know, and we try to help you. Some of them, not all foreigners are good. Not all foreigners are good. A lot of bad foreigners, a lot of good foreigners. But you know, the good ones amongst us, don't take kindness as a weakness, guys. That will be your downfall, I'm sure on that. You know, so most foreigners are quite respectful. There's a lot of bad foreigners, like I said, but you've got me drift. So when you start to damage his property, put your little traps up. Yeah, put your little traps up. I take notice, and once I find out who you are and what you're doing, you know, what goes around comes around, I'm afraid. So, you know, like I said, most foreigners are very respectful. There was a topic I wanted to chat about, and I can't remember what it was. If I remember what the topic was, quite an important topic. And Joveline said something the other day, and I thought, yeah, but I forgot what the topic is. If I remember, I'll chat about it. So that's the news here. Monitor lizard ripping the insides out to 2 baby goats. They'd have to be baby goats. If they're big goats, not a monitor lizard. And as far as I know, guys, a lot of monitor lizards, but not all monitor lizards, because some monitor lizards eat fruit. They're venomous, so when they bite, they poison. So they bite poison into you. They're poisonous, a lot of monitor lizards. And you know, it would have to be a very, very big monitor lizard for it to rip a goat's insides out. But like I said, it's possible. But why didn't it come back for meat? But you never know, do you? You know, there's always. This is where I actually see these 2 monitor lizards. There's 2 monitor lizards in here, and they're like a brown monitor lizard. Right, so you know, hopefully, I've got to. I came out this morning, like I said. I got here and all I could hear is boom, but music blaring out 1/4 mile over just this next barangay. And they always have the music on too loud, so I couldn't do a video really. And I forgot the topic I actually wanted to chat about. I'm not going to chat about UK England on here. If I decide to start to chat about what's going off in the UK, I will make a new channel and chat about it on there, okay? And if I get a few comments, I might chat about it or I might not. So it's as simple as that. I can see that Erin, Ah, there's a dog. Quite a big dog. I don't know whose dog that is. Don't know if I've seen that one before. I think I have seen it before. So let me have a little walk out. Looks like looks like someone's around. So it's there, look. Oh, where that carabao is there. Right, there's a guy out there with a carabao. It could be his dog. But I think that dog belongs into that other barangay and it's quite dangerous. So, like I said, be very careful of dogs. So that were a lovely minor bird actually what I saw yesterday. And its eyes were absolutely beautiful, red, a very, very dark red. And Joveline said, oh, it's got red eyes, it's evil. I said, it's not evil, it's a minor bird. I said, they're very, very intelligent birds, minor birds. I don't know. You know, they've got some crazy beliefs, Filipinos. They have. Oh, one at topics. Just remembered. Right. Guys, this is to a topic. What happens if Joveline's up one of these mango trees and she falls? Right? And she breaks her arms or cracks her skull, or she breaks her arms and her legs or her back, which is quite possible climbing trees. What would happen? Well, listen, what would happen is she'd die. Okay, this is the truth. She would die. And what happens if I were up that tree and I were in top of the tree, which I do normally climb to top, and I fell from top to bottom? I'd rather it be me than Joveline. But you know, when I tell her not to go up tree, she goes up anyway. And like she said, she's a mountain girl of Don Salvador. I can see an heron out there, quite a nice bird. So what would happen if one of us climbed up that tree and we fall, broke his arm, broke his legs, fractured his skull? You'd die. Simple as that, right? Simple as that. Are we cowards? No, we don't fear life. And that's something else, guys. When you're in England, this is all you hear. Oh, are you insured? Did you get insured? No. Oh, why not? You should be insured, you know. What happens if you die tomorrow? And that's what people are doing all the time. They're scared. Right, let me just get that out of my foot. They're scared to die. And they're wanting to insure themselves. And that's all you hear. Oh, I'm insured, I've got him insured, and we're all insured, and, you know, just in case. That's all you hear. And that's all you hear of people in England. You know, they're too, like, they're always on about dying, and they're always on about getting insured. You know, why don't you just live your life? Forget about dying, just live your life. And one day, have a nice life, enjoy your life, and then one day you will die. You'll pass away. That's nature. And that's just nature. If you don't understand it, I do. Because this is where I grew up in the woods. And from finding dead baby birds, keeping owls and kestrels, keeping a lot of rooks, I understand nature. So that's something else. I don't understand you why you know, Philly health. Oh, if we go to Philippines, what do we do? Oh, I better get some money. I better not go to Philippines. Well, what happens if you have an accident when you go to Philippines? Is there an hospital near? No, there's no hospital here. Is there an hospital nearby? No, there's no hospital nearby here. So if you come to the Philippines and you're scared of dying, don't come to the Philippines, right? You know, there's no hospital here whatsoever. So if we have an accident, by the time we get to hospital, we'll probably be dead. And if we just break his arms and legs and we're in a really, really bad way, I'm just watching for that dog, that's all, and we're in a really, really bad way, what are we going to do? Well, it's as simple as this, guys, right? You get carted off to hospital, and then when you get to hospital, if you cannot pay, you'll die, right? You'll be left on a bed. You'll die, sorry, but you'll die. Have I got Philly health? No. Am I interested? No. Am I going to insure myself? No. when I go to Spain, do I always get insurance just in case I get knocked down or get killed? No. And if I do get killed, I always say this, look, dig an hole, chuck me in the hole, just bury me. Right, simple as that. Whatever you want to call it, a poor man's grave or a rich man's grave, whatever you want to call it. So the sad, the fact, the reality, you will come to the Philippines. If you've got Philly health, it's up to you. If you ain't got Philly health, you know, I mean, when we go out on motorbike, we nearly get killed every time we go out on that motorbike. And I'm not joking, we're riding safe, and you've got four-wheel drives. They don't come down side you like that and then pull in, gradually pull in onto. They'll come like that, shoom, straight across. You'll think, you arsehole. And that's what they do on motorbikes. There's some disrespectful fools what do it on motorbikes. And that's why a lot of you are getting killed. But no, if you come to the Philippines, no, don't have Philly health, I'm insured, no. So what happens if you get killed? Well, if we get killed, we get killed, so what? You know, before I come to the Philippines, I actually know a guy, and he bought a motorbike. It was 500. And it was quite a nice bike he dropped on. He got this bike cheap, it was like new. And it belonged to an old guy. And he bought this bike brand new, this older guy. And when he actually, I don't know why he sold bike, but a mate of mine, a friend of mine bought this bike. And he never went out on it. Went out on it about 3 times. And he was selling bike, and I went, he said, I'm selling bike. I said, why? And then he just said, oh, I'm selling it. Then I chatted to his brother, and he went, oh, such and so selling his motorbike. He don't want to get killed. I thought, wow. And that's what's wrong. You seem to fear death. What about COVID-19? You know, there's all these immigrants coming in. You forgot about COVID-19. Right. I mean, that were no big deal, was it? You know. So that were no big deal. But if you come to the Philippines, that's, you know, I'm seeing videos now, a lot of videos, and they're like a fake video. You know, you've got someone from America or England, oh, we are here in Palawan, and this is what life is like in the Philippines. No, it isn't. This is what life's like in the Philippines. You know, if you're actually coming to Palawan, the Philippines, enjoy it, have a nice life, enjoy it, enjoy your food, enjoy the sea, enjoy the beach, you know, have a really nice time. But that's not real life in the Philippines. Real life in the Philippines can be poverty, sometimes no food to eat, can be a very hard life. I'm a positive person, so even though I live on a tenner a week, we live on £10 a week. Thank you to a subscriber of ours, a very good-hearted person, and to good-hearted people that has actually helped support us in the past. Thanks, guys. You know, every little helps. You know, whether it's a penny or a pound, every little helps. You know, but thanks to one of our subscribers, we live on £10 a week here in the Philippines. We don't live on 1,000 or 1,500 quid a month like a lot of you guys are doing. And you know, because you don't know how to manage your damn money, or you've got, you know, you've just got a shed load of money, which is quite nice actually. But this is the real Philippines. If you come to the Philippines, you buy a motorbike, buy an helmet. Yeah, every time you go out, it's quite possible to get killed. Now, I'll be going to Mercy tomorrow. Do I think about getting killed? Not really. Just go out and we ride up that road. If something nearly knocks us off bike, it's just a bit of bad language off me. And that's about it. You know, life's life. So there's no hospital here. Hospital is in Bacolod. And I'll tell you a quick story walking back to the house. There were a guy here, and he used to like making videos. He went to YouTuber. He made, you know, he used to go out and he used to take his cameras, and he used to like taking pictures and a few videos. And he used to like taking pictures at sunset, moon. So I'd go out with all his expensive camera equipment, and he wanted to take moon, and it was late at night. Not late at night, might have been 7, 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. You know, it gets dark at 6. That's quite late at night actually, 8 o'clock. So, you know, and he's riding up road on his motorbike, and he's got his leather coat on, he's got all his motorbike gear on, helmet, all safety gear, and then he comes round the corner, and then there's a tricycle what's pulled out with no lights on. So this tricycle's pulled out, there's no lights on it, and this is what I see all the time coming back from Mercia. Motorbikes with no lights, dogs running across the road, easy to get killed. Life in the Philippines, so what? So this guy's going down the road, and he runs straight into the back of this tricycle, and he smashes himself up, right, and he's laid out, and the phone for an ambulance, the phone police come, there was no ambulance came. So what happened was, they came in like a 4-wheel drive truck. I forgot naming them. They're like a little 4-wheel drive truck, Suzuki I think it was, but a little bit bigger than Suzuki, small 4-wheel drive. So they picked this guy up. I think he'd broke his legs, his arms, broke his back, and they picked him up, and he was in big pain, and they put him on back of this wagon, and they drove him to hospital, right? So they drove him to hospital in back of this wagon. So this guy were in massive pain, and he were busted up all over the place, and they got him to hospital, and they put him on a bed. You know, I forgot what they call him. They put you on a bed and they wheel it like a trolley bed. Forgot what it's called. You've got me drift. So they pushed him, and they pushed him through hospital, and they left him in corridor in hospital, and he couldn't pay. He didn't have no money on him. He's just come off his motorbike. He's going back home at night after taking pictures at moon, etc, one thing or another. And is it this tricycle, and now he's in hospital, and he's in ward, not a ward, sorry, he's in hospital corridor. And he's had no water. He's there 3 days. He's had no water. They haven't seen to him, right? He's there on his own. They haven't seen to him. So he's basically dying, right? And when they came to him, asked him to sign it for his money, he told them he ain't got no money. So what happened was, he asked one of the nurses, he shouted one of the nurses what were passing, and she checked all his pockets, and she found a number, right, and it weren't Philly Health, because if he'd have had his Philly Health on him, they'd have sorted him straight away. But don't forget, if you've got Philly Health, you need to carry that with you, right, or don't bother getting it. Well, it's up to you, you know, your choice. So she's found this number, and he said, oh, that's a friend of mine. And he'd met this friend from America, and they were in this same condo unit, and this nurse phoned this friend up, and she managed to phone this friend. He weren't a friend what he'd known for years, he was just a foreigner, or he were in the same joint as him, and you know, just hi, hello, and just that type of a friend. Must have been a nice guy, and he were an American guy as far as I'm aware. And she phoned him and said, oh, I've got Mr. Such and so here, he's had a motorbike accident, you know, he's here in hospital, and he's got no money, can you find his health insurance? He couldn't find it. He went into his apartment, got landlord, they opened his apartment, looked in, couldn't find his Philly Health, couldn't find no documents. So this guy, this American guy, went to hospital, and when he got to hospital, he actually paid, right? So he must have been a really nice guy. So he actually paid the bill, and he said, oh, I ain't seen you for about 3 or 4 days. He said, no, I've been here. So I've been here, told him how long he'd been in the hospital, right? On the ward, not the ward, in the where you walk. So he'd be in there, right? They just left him outside there.